She's not what you'd expect. She's tough and feisty, but gentle and tender. She makes millions and gives millions to the poor. She cries, she laughs, she teaches, she comforts. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. Thanks so much for joining us today. Today is the day that you are going to want to share this show. Why? Listen. Have you ever been in a situation where you have followed everybody else's definition of success? You know, that making lots of money in business and then you'll be successful, and right? That, you know, chasing cash is then you're going to be successful. You're going to feel good about yourself, all of this kind of stuff, right? And so the only definition you have for success happens to be money. That used to be Hans and myself. In fact, so much so that I found myself working 100 hours a week when I was 24 and 25. It resulted in a heart attack and a nervous breakdown. Tried to commit suicide. My husband, fortunately, being a martial artist, stopped me from gutting myself one night while our daughter was sleeping, and she walks out and starts to ask some questions. It was a bad time in my life. And why? Because someone had told me that success was becoming a millionaire and having lots of stuff and chasing money and $5,000 suits and $250,000 worth of jewelry and a 5,000 square foot plush office in the San Francisco Bay Area with all brand new gorgeous furniture and all the beauty of the office. And don't forget the artwork. The list went on of all the things that I was told that was supposed to make me look successful and feel successful. And it just all came to a head when none of it made me feel successful. It all sucked. It really, really sucked. I remember the day that I said, if this is what success is, no thanks. I'd rather be broke than live like this. I literally rather be broke than to live like this. Well, we have a couple here that are joining me today from Kansas. James and Taryn Leiker from Kansas have a very similar story in that they were also chasing the same thing. And I want you to hear from them the changes that they've made over the last couple of years, what brought the wake-up call, what brought the stress into the marriage, and what things they've done to change it since then. So James and Taryn, thank you so much for joining us today all the way via Skype from Kansas. Hi.
Absolutely.
Hello.
You guys look fabulous as always.
Thank you.
You do. You guys are such a gorgeous couple. Now, can you, James, I want you to describe that prior to you guys coming to DaniJohnson.com's First Steps to Success training seminar, what was going on in your marriage, your finances, and your life?
Well, I'll start with our finances since we kind of led in with that. Our finances were great. We were stressed, though. We were working harder and harder every single year, basically trying to maintain a status that we didn't know that we had to maintain. But basically, I think like anybody, you let the general public, you let people tell you what success is. They define it for you because it was a type of success that we hadn't had prior to it. We were basically, before our income grew to a very large six-figure income, basically, we had 5 jobs between the two of us. I had a full-time job and a part-time job. Taryn piecemealed 3 part-time jobs together, and we made maybe $65,000 to $70,000 on our best year. And all of a sudden, we went from that income to multiple six-figure income. But we were taking advice from what we thought were very successful people. They were very, very successful in business. We never looked at the home life. And so I guess our mistake before, we came to DaniJohnson.com and First Steps to Success was we took that definition. And so it was actually a friend that invited us and said, hey, why don't you come to this conference? He sold us on making more money. He sold us on. So we were kind of struggling because, we had hit a plateau in our business. We were still doing really, really good, but it was like, why aren't we climbing? We've just hit this plateau and we couldn't understand why. So we figured, okay, we trust the guy. We've known him for years. If he says this is the place to go to increase your business skills, we're going to go.
We were stressed.
Yeah, we were stressed. We were always at each other's throats. We didn't know why. We were at each other's throats. Our kids, they basically suffered from anxiety. We were always leaving the house. We were probably gone 5 out of 7 days. single week between the two of us. It got to a point that basically we rotated days. She was gone a certain number of days. We kind of high-fived in the driveway. We switched off the car and off went the other spouse to go to work.
Now, going from $70,000 a year between the two of you working 5 jobs to hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, did you increase your lifestyle while you increased your income?
Yes and no. I'll give my perspective on that. We still live in the same house that we've always lived in. Mm-hmm. We bought one new vehicle. We didn't buy all new vehicles. We made a lot of money, but let's just say we spent a lot of money at the same time too, because we didn't want to,
We were buying dinners for people. We were paying for things, footing the bill, all these things that we were told to do that successful people did.
Paid for people's travel, paid for their trips, basically everything that someone should take on their own. We were doing it for them.
Yep. Wow. I cannot tell you how many times I have encountered people who have been told that in order to make money, they got to be buying people lunch. They got to be paying for people's vacations. That's such a hoax. That's actually a way to keep people broke and to keep them struggling financially. And I don't think anyone ever gave that advice on purpose to keep someone broke, but that's the result of it. So basically, you're making more money, but you were spending as much more as what you were making.
Yep.
Right.
And were you guys in debt?
Not really.
No, we never had consumer debt. We had our mortgage. Mm-hmm. We paid cash for everything. It's just unfortunate at the end of every single month, we'd see how much we made, but the balance on the bank account was not growing. It was literally just staying the same. So we were spending exactly what we were making.
Not investing at all.
No investments whatsoever.
So not making any investments. You're spending all that you were making. You didn't necessarily go buy another big house or anything like that, but you were spending it all in business, which is not necessarily wise. Not even looking to see what the yield of that was. Okay, so Taryn, from your perspective, how was this high five? You guys actually, it sounds like you were more like roommates versus parents and husband and wife.
Totally roommates. And it really just sucked because there's no connection. There was no time for us. What we were feeding was flourishing, which was our business. But what we were neglecting was each other and our kids. And that was dying. And it was getting to a deficit, that we could really, it was at rock bottom. Because the relationships, there was no foundation anymore. We didn't know who each other were. We didn't know what goals were. We just weren't on the same page in any way, shape, or form.
And it can be toxic that way. So were you lonely?
Extremely lonely. And, it was one of those where I was receiving praise from other outside sources, but not from my husband. And everybody else's words are awesome, but the one you really want to hear it from is your spouse. Mm-hmm. Those are the words that actually have power. To know that you're really speaking life into your children is what's powerful. The world's perspective, they'll never really know you. And so I was so empty because they were from not empty sources, but not the sources that mean the most.
And so I remember having a conversation with you before, Taryn, and you said that you thought that your husband, James, would be a better mother and wife than you. Talk about that.
He had raised them. I had struggled with depression for 13 years. And so I was barely able, even before we were, had success financially, I wasn't a mom. I was so depressed that I would snap in a heartbeat. And so James actually raised our kids. He was the one that got up with them at night. He was the one that took care of their needs. So I didn't know how to be a mom. So when financially I was able to, go out and earn an income, I just thought that they were in the best of hands with him because I didn't know how to help them without attacking them. I didn't know what that looked like. And he truly was at that stage better for them because I was just ignoring it. And I didn't believe in myself and know my role.
Yeah. And so what changed? You guys came through first steps. You hit every single event in your first year. Now you're coming into the second year or third year. I don't know which year it is right now. And I remember the day that I met you guys, and I remember the question that you asked about, Taryn, with your business and with the business you guys built, retiring your husband from his job. What was the result of that?
I'll let you start in on that.
Basically, when we finally got the words that people weren't just trying to stroke our ego, that you really called us out and said, look, this is the warning sign. You're either going to move in the right direction and you are going to put your priorities in line, put God first, put your husband second, put your kids third, and then everything else. And things will fall into place. And that's not something that people talk about. It's not something that the world can even understand until you actually implement it. And so we just recognized that we were so far from that. It wasn't even funny. And we were looking at the fruit, what was being, shown in our lives. And we said, look, we have nothing to lose. We have everything to gain. We're going to follow directions. We're going to apply as much as we can and continue to learn. And what was so powerful about going to event after event is we were hearing it as new people. We were hearing it with different ears. We were able to apply it in a different way. I actually was so blown away at how much I thought I was respecting my husband and how much I realized I was emasculating and disrespecting him, that I didn't know what it meant to honor anyone, especially him. And so we just implemented it, and our family dynamic completely changed. When the kids started to see me honor and respect him, they began to do the same. And we came together as a family. We established our values. We established a family mission, and we live by that. And when we start to stray, we go back and say, this is not who we are. We need to get back on track with these things. And it just resets all of us in such a powerful way, because when we're all focused on the same thing, there's so much power and so much that can be accomplished. And there's peace, there's less stress, there's no pressure, because I don't care what anybody else says about our success, as long as we treat each other with respect and love each other and we're moving in the right direction. That can't be wrong. And
James, I got a question for you. So your wife comes back from First Steps to Success. I mean, you both were attending together month after month after month. What was that like to go from being emasculated and ignored by your wife to now she is now starting to honor and respect you? What did that feel like? What did that look like for you?
Definitely 180-degree difference from it, because it wasn't any longer basically controlling and saying, here's your schedule for the day. Because basically what it turned into was, when I so-called retired, was I basically, instead of becoming a business partner, it felt more like an employee. I was working 50 hours a week as an employee with really no extra benefit to it. And so basically after that first steps, we literally, the next day, it was game on. Like, we're done with the old way of life. We're starting with this. We've got the tools. We knew we had the tools. We knew that we had messed up.
You already lived the other formula that somebody else fished to you, which was a great facade. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more with the Taryn and James Leiker story right after this.
Stay right here for more of the Dani Johnson Show. Did you know you can take the Dani Johnson Show with you wherever you go? It's never been easier to stay up to date with the latest content from Dani with the DaniJohnson.com app. Watch or listen in the car, at the gym, or on the go. Download it now from the App Store and Google Play and never miss a show again. Your family, business, and bank account will thank you.
Imagine living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel made of waste material on top of old mining tunnels that could explode and sink your home at any moment. Imagine no water to drink, no safe place to raise your children, no food for your starving baby. Imagine that your kids can't learn to read because they have to work to support the family instead of going to school. Could you imagine living in that kind of fear and hopelessness? This is exactly what poverty-stricken families are dealing with in Nicaragua. These families can barely meet their basic needs of food, clean water, and safe housing. But a miracle is in the making, and you can be a part of transforming Nicaragua. Be a part of this miracle. I want you to go to the website now and learn how you can help. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Nicaragua. There you can join with other warriors against poverty and help bring a miraculous transformation. That's kingsransom.org, kingsransom.org.
More resources, more training, more results. The DaniJohnson.com Insider membership is your ultimate success shortcut. Get exclusive access to reports, videos, audios, ebooks, cheat sheets, and other training for your personal and professional life. This is truly DaniJohnson.com's best kept secret. Become an Insider member today and get on the fast track to success. And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
So you don't know why things are a mess. You just know that they're messy. That's exactly where Taryn and James Leiker found themselves. We just finished hearing part of their story of, increasing their income dramatically, but spending all that they were making. Being apart from each other. I'm going to retire my husband. He was supposed to become a business partner, but instead he became more like an employee and given a schedule of what he was supposed to do. Being told what to do by your wife sucks. Sucks. It's not how it's supposed to be. Taryn felt like she was a terrible mom, didn't know how to be a mom right when she first had her kids, suffering under depression for 13 solid years, and just said, I snap at my kids. My husband's a much better mother than I will ever be. That is some role reversals that are disastrous. And joining me now from Kansas via Skype, the Leikers. So, James, you just finished telling me how it felt to be honored. Like your wife is going to, you and your wife are hitting each event of 2016. Yeah, it was 2016. You guys were hitting every single event. And so right away, things at home began to change. And Taryn, you were telling us that you guys set up some family values and mission. Okay, now tell me what happened in your finances and tell me what happened with you guys as a family, how you lived out this mission.
Well, as soon as we came home, we realized that we needed to stop the bleeding and the hemorrhaging. And that was in time and money right away. And we realized we had been really selfish with our money as well, thinking that it truly was ours. So immediately we identified where we could cut the spending because it really mattered not how much we made, but how much we were keeping. So we stopped spending in ways that were completely frivolous and started to invest those funds, which made a huge difference. And we increased our assets 11-fold within 18 months just by doing that. We paid off over $110,000 in debt, and that was on our mortgage. We just figured everybody has a mortgage, no need to pay that down, but we recognized that that still made us a slave to the lender. And I had been working 100 to 80 hours a week and, realizing that I was wasting so many of those hours, cut it back to 20 and saw productivity go up immediately. Increased my hourly rate 6 times, which was very powerful. Yep. And when we truly started to give is where we realized that our income had completely been protected, even though we backed off how much time we spent on it. Yep. So it was very profound there. I stopped the bait and switch that I had done on my husband. James had seen me in yoga buns or yoga pants and then the buns on my head, no makeup. And so I started to get really dressed up for him and I'd cook dinner that way. Nice. And I loved
Wait. James, I got to hear from James on this. Okay, so you had the typical soccer mom as a wife. Hold on, let me explain this. You had the typical soccer mom as a wife in her yoga pants that are baggy. She's got a messy bun on her hair. She doesn't wear any makeup, but when she leaves for business, she looks hot.
Yes.
But when she's home just for you, she looks like a slob. So what was that like to now see your wife invest into her beauty? Like this is the chick you married. What was that like?
Nice. When I come back home and I walk in the kitchen and all of a sudden I see her all dressed up, makeup, apron on, high heels, you just stop and you're like, whoa, wow. I have not seen this for a long time. And honestly, it kind of took us back to the first couple of weeks we were dating, when you get dressed up and both of you are like, I wonder what the other one's going to wear. And you're just really excited to see him. And that's honestly what it became every single day. Every single day when I'd come home for lunch or supper, it'd be like, I wonder what she's going to have on now. What's she going to look like? So you get excited when you come home because it used to be you stayed at work and you didn't want to come home. Yeah. And now it's like, I got to hurry up and get home.
I love it. There's a major key right there. I love it. Okay, so Taryn's now looking hot at home versus just when she's out doing business presentations or meeting with clients, which, hello, if that's not a complete mismatch in priorities, right? Women have a tendency of looking great for their work and looking like slobs at home. If that isn't if that is not a misappropriation of priorities, I don't know what is. That she might get dressed to go to the grocery store, but won't get dressed to look good for her husband. Wrong way. And it's so funny, I hear women say, oh, but we're comfortable with each other. Well, how well is that working in your sex life? How well is that working in your emotional life? How are you feeling about yourself looking like a slob? You don't feel good looking like a slob. So just because you can look like a slob doesn't mean you should. Doesn't mean it has some great benefits for your sex life or your weight or your mind or your conversations. No way. Makes you bitter, lazy, unproductive, no vision. Get dressed, girl, take a shower, and put it on. Ooh, this is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
So what's keeping you stuck? It's time to get it out of your way for good. Stay right here for more of The Dani Johnson Show.
This is your chance. This is your shot. Get your copy of War on Debt right now. There's one waiting for you that has your family's name on it. And inside that package is freedom. Your family's freedom is on the inside of that package. All you have to do is open it up, press play, and start applying what I teach you in this program. 888-757-8880. You and I are going to help your family become completely debt-free in the next 5 to 7 years. Just imagine how that's going to feel.
Hey everybody, my name is Digby and I'm from New South Wales, Australia, and I'm here live at First Steps to Success. I've been to 6 events now, and my journey started with an encore in Brisbane, and after doing 2 encores in Australia, I just really had to come to a live event, so here I am today. And since attending an encore and getting involved, my income has doubled and my family life is just blossoming. So you have to get there. You just have to experience it.
Prior to plugging into DaniJohnson.com, I was working 60 to 75 hours a week. I was completely stressed out. I was incredibly angry with my husband. We were in over $350,000 worth of debt. By applying the strategies that Dani teaches, in the last 3.5 years, we have paid off $170,000 in debt. We are no longer roommates, and we no longer spend every single cent that we make. We now have made tens of thousands of dollars in passive income in investments. We are on the right track. We're traveling around the world together, and we are building homes for those who really need it. So I don't know about you, but if you want to cut back from 60 to 20 and 30 hours a week, if you want to mend some relationships, if you want to make your life more efficient and a lot more fun, and you want to be the best version of you, I highly recommend that you get registered because your life is about to change.
Prior to plugging into DaniJohnson.com, First Steps to Success in Creating Dynasty, my wife and I were really lost. We were struggling in a relationship. We were struggling financially, drowning in debt. Our relationship was really broken. We were in a bad place. We were living in 2 completely different states and not really honoring each other. Once we got plugged into the community, we noticed a shift in our lives. Most importantly, we came together as a husband and wife. That was the first thing we did. And when we finally came together under the same roof, things started to change. Over the past 3 years, we've been able to pay off over $495,000 in debt. I know my business, I've had a job created for me that increased my income by 50%. That has actually opened up the door to allow my wife and I to spend more time with each other. So I don't know where you are. I don't know if your relationship is super awesome. I don't know if your job is immaculate. I don't know if you're debt-free. But what I do know is if you're not any one of those things, your next step is to get plugged into DaniJohnson.com, go on the website, get plugged into the community. I promise you, your life will never be the same.
Prior to plugging into DaniJohnson.com, I was a broke college student, drowning in debt, and I felt like the world was crashing all around me, and I had bad relationships. Since plugging into DaniJohnson.com and First Steps to Success, I was able to pay off $6,600 in 4 months Now I'm able to give 10% of my income to wherever my heart desires. I actually, using the skills that I learned from Dani, I actually landed a job before I graduated college. And I'm able to travel the world. All I know is if you're serious about annihilating your debt, traveling the world, helping people, and having fun doing so, I highly recommend you get registered for the next First Steps to Success. Do it now, don't wait, don't even thinking about it. If you're ready to change your life, just do it.
We went to our first ever First Steps to Success just 10 weeks ago, and it has definitely been life-changing ever since.
We felt like we got hit by a 2x4, but it was the best 2x4 because what we realized is that our priorities were clearly out of line. I had been building a home-based business and had been working 80 to 100 hours, and I realized that that is not my role, and that I had actually taken my husband's, and it was that realization that something had to change, and we immediately went home and changed everything. There was no hesitation. We said, you know what, we need to be obedient to God.
And we've implemented the tools day one. We started implementing what Dani taught us, invested in ourselves, invested in our kids, got our priorities in line. We've now actually paid off just not quite $60,000 in debt and looking at a couple more investments here as head of the household.
It's been absolutely incredible. So I just encourage you, if any of this speaks to you, if you're wanting to get out of debt, if you're wanting better communication, if you're wanting to elevate to the higher level of life, get to First Steps to Success and plug into DaniJohnson.com.
Helping you become all you were meant to be. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
So, you know, the messy bun, the yoga pants, the no makeup, slopping around, giving her husband directions of what he's going to do that day. That ain't no way to live, man. Both people are miserable in that situation. It's exactly where James and Taryn Leiker found themselves. They've attended how many First Steps to Successes? A lot. For the last 2 straight years, been very, very faithful in the supportive community after having a pivotal experience at their very first Steps to Success back in 2016. In fact, February of 2016. And so here's what's interesting. You guys paid off $110,000 worth of debt off your mortgage. You learned at First Steps how to do that, and why to do that. Instead of going, okay, well, we have no consumer debt. We're okay. We have mortgage like everybody else. Who wants to be like everybody else? No one wants to be like everybody else. Give me a break. If we're going to be like everyone else, then we're going to have what everyone else has. And that is a destiny of being broke at 65, depending on their family, friends, and federal government for their main source of income. That's if you're going to follow in everyone else's footsteps, that's your destiny. 98% of the population will end up dead or dead broke at 65. You'll either be dead or broke. And if you're broke, you might wish you were dead. Do you hear what I'm saying? Get off the everybody else path. So, James, you just finished telling us, like, wow, I kind of look forward to coming home now, seeing my wife looking all hot, which is so awesome. Really, really awesome. And, Taryn, you took your hours from 100 hours a week down to 20 hours a week. You followed the system of time secrets. You took everything seriously that I taught from the stage at Creating a Dynasty and First Step Success. You guys really have been such diligent students, and you have the results to prove it. But the part that I really enjoyed, I love what's happened in the marriage. I love what's happened in your business. I love the debt that you paid off. But also, how you guys have done this with your kids. You brought your kids through First Steps to Success in Creating a Dynasty. And your kids learned how to start a business. Tell us about that quickly.
So Reese was so inspired. You know, we wanted her to get in front of you because you're the one that had the information. We were still learning. And so we just said, we're going to get her straight in front of the information. We're not going to try to regurgitate our 10% that we were retaining. And we came home, we said, okay, what is the bigger part in the big picture that you want to play? And she decided to start selling homemade laundry detergent. And 100% of the proceeds was going to go to building homes for the extreme poor in Nicaragua. And, you know, when she first set her goal, it was to build 5 homes, which was $26,000. She wanted to do it in a year. And, you know, she just said, if you can do it, I can do it. And we were blown away because she schooled us and she earned $28,000 in 7 months by utilizing what it was that she had learned. And she inspired us. And honestly, she chapped our hide a little bit because it was like, she's totally getting better results and doing more. And she, you know, roped her brother into it. And really encouraged him utilizing gems, to learn what his personality, what his strengths were so that they could work together. But she inspired to bring out the best in him. And it was just mind blowing to see how phenomenal it is when you truly follow directions and you just do the work.
Yes. And so then there you were, Taryn, you and your daughter Reese, one who you pretty much did not have a relationship with, in Nicaragua with me a year ago. Seeing the homes that you guys actually built. And I remember seeing the tears coming down her face. And you, Taryn, as you were standing in one of the homes that you guys are responsible for building, here, a 12-year-old and an 8-year-old who learned to start a business at First Steps to Success. And why? Because the parents didn't try to be the expert. The parents just said, we're going to bring our kids. Our kids got to learn this, right? Well, we're learning this. That's humility. That's absolute humility. But I will never forget the conversations that we had in Nicaragua and the passion for the heart of helping the extreme poor and how that has fueled you guys. And I also know, Taryn, that you've also had a recent increase in income as a direct result of all of this as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, it has been profound just to see incrementally, almost doubling what had happened. And it was just in a matter of weeks, when those barriers were lifted, when I really believed what I was capable of, and when I started to pursue that, and having James fully support that has been a game changer. And so we're just watching things happen and our efforts be multiplied. And we have a really big goal. And our goal is not based on the income. It's based on what that means we can donate this year. Scares the living daylights out of us. But it's a bigger purpose. And that's what's so exciting, because I know that I can't do it on my own, but that it's absolutely possible.
And James, you also have started a couple other businesses as well. Yes. You're no longer your wife's assistant.
Right. Yes, exactly.
What's happened there?
Well, we got kind of called out at our first steps, and you said, what are we going to do about it? And, I sat there and thought, and then you said, what are you going to do about it? And I was like, oh, shoot, I got to do something, because I got accountability now. And actually, that was something we didn't have either. No. Was accountability. We thought, oh, we make so much money, we don't have to answer to anybody. But we finally found a coach and mentor that basically was going to call us out on our stuff. And so it took a little while. We did some praying. We did a lot of talking. But, finally I started my own business. I've got a couple people that work for me now. We're actually starting another one here too. And it's just crazy, because our relationships, they're not based on business anymore. Yes. They're totally based on other people. And when you base those relationships on other people and their goals, and it's truly a relationship, you're shocked at the number of opportunities that start popping up. And so what we focus on now is 100% the relationship of the person. We don't look for anything to come out of that relationship, but God provides, and we now have multiple streams.
And your kids no longer suffer from anxiety.
No.
They no longer walk on eggshells.
No.
If anything, they have to plug their ears and cover their eyes.
Yes.
Yeah, we've actually been told that. We've been told that by our kids, like, go to a room, you guys.
Oh, man, I love it.
Oh, Mom, come on, Dad.
That is so awesome. Man, that blesses me. This, honestly, is a marriage that was saved, finances that have been saved and increased, children that now have a flourishing, loving example in their parents, and parents that are both engaged. And Taryn, you're homeschooling your kids now.
Yes, never thought that was going to happen.
No, not when you were the mom that was running from your responsibilities of motherhood. So for you now are the one training up your kids. You will never, ever, ever regret that. So anyway, I'm a mess. I'm so proud of you guys. Thanks so much for joining us. Coming up next, we have Judy Lowery. Judy Lowery, wait till you hear this. You're from Salem, Oregon. We're talking incredible increase of income. We're talking incredible increase in each area of her life. You are so going to be blessed when you hear this. If you weren't thoroughly blessed by what you just heard, you're going to be thoroughly blessed when you hear this. So joining me now from Salem, Oregon, Judy Lowery. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Dani. Thanks for having me.
Hey, you know what? I consider it such a blessing that I got to meet you for the first time at First Steps to Success in San Diego. And here your story had been birthed and I had not even known about it. You're a mom of 8 kids. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, listen, the way Judy and I met is she actually earned a luncheon with the top promoters from First Steps to Success. And I had never heard of her, had not met her, and I was blown away by what had happened in her story. How did you first hear about First Steps?
I actually was introduced to DaniJohnson.com through a referral from a home business I joined. I was brought on board by Regina Saunders, and she plugged me right into your 30-day boot camp.
At smarternetworker.com. Yeah, smarternetworker.com. Yep.
That was my first introduction with you.
Wow. And so what happened? So what kind of money were you making in your home business before coming to First Step Success and tapping into the website?
$0 a month.
Okay. And today you are making?
Today I'm making 6 figures a year.
So how much? Is that $100,000 a year?
Yeah, over now. It hit that mark about last spring. It's keeps climbing, so it's above that now. But
so it took a year. It took a year. You went from 0 to 6 figures in 1 year.
Actually, I started in 2011.
Okay.
As a Smarter Networker. I did that for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And that got me from $0 a month to $600 a month doing the free training with you.
Yep.
And then I decided, well, you know what, if I'm getting these kind of results with her free training, why don't I try one of her live events? So I went in 2013. I went to one of your live trainings, First Steps to Success, and came home from that event, and I doubled my closing ratios in the first week by implementing one thing I learned there. Wow. And I also, my husband and I paid off $47,000 of debt in the 15 months that followed that first training. And now from that time, 2013 to today, we're hitting 6 figures a year in that. And I work part-time about 4 hours a month with my business today.
Wow. Mm-hmm. With 8 kids and a homeschooling mom, which is absolutely crazy. All right. So there it is. I apologize that I mixed up the timeline there. But so from 2013 to today, she went from $600 a month to 6 figures, working part-time from home. So I don't know about you, but when you got 8 kids, you got a lot of excuses that you could use not to fix your finances. With 8 kids, you could use every excuse in the book to say you don't have the time to build additional income working from home or working from anywhere. With 8 kids, you can use the excuse of, hey, we got this debt, so what? It's okay that we've got this debt. We got 8 kids. But that is not what this family has done. Judy was hungry and teachable enough to learn new skills, to make an investment in her skill set so that she could improve her business skills. Doubling her closing ratios, hello, right away after her first steps. You want that? You might want to step up. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
This is the Dani Johnson Show. Did you know you can take the Dani Johnson Show with you wherever you go? It's never been easier to stay up to date with the latest content from Dani with the DaniJohnson.com app. Watch or listen in the car, at the gym, or on the go. Download it now from the App Store and Google Play and never miss a show again. Your family, business, and bank account will thank you. Did you know you can see Dani Johnson live and in person? Go to DaniJohnson.com and find out about our next live event. First Steps to Success. Register today. Call 866-760-8255 or go to DaniJohnson.com/FSTS.
My name is Chelsea Drinkard. I am 25 years old and from Tampa, Florida. And like most college students, I was a recent college graduate, got my first big corporate America job that we were told we were supposed to do. But I had a problem. Within the first couple weeks, I found myself crying every single day after work. I thought I was going to get fired. I was on a path to financial destruction, and I had no idea how to communicate with my family or my boss. Within the very first 6 months of plugging into DaniJohnson.com, War on Debt, and First Steps to Success, I annihilated $2,500. And weird pause. I also increased my value so much by applying First Steps to Success and what you're about to learn right now, gems, that I was offered a promotion, and I received a 10% increase in my pay. When I did decide to leave, the business, I became so valuable, the CEO pulled me aside into his office for a private one-on-one meeting, asking me what they could do to keep me. Not only that, since then, I've just started, through War and Debt, I'm hosting War and Debt weekly classes. I'm facilitating War and Debt webinars. I'm living life by design, not by default, like the rest of my other friends who are stuck in debt in their 20s. And not only that, I'm going to Thailand for the 3rd time this November. I'm working with women and children rescued from the sex trafficking. So I don't know about you, but all I know is if you want to have better relationships with your friends and family, you want to increase your value at your work, you want to expand and grow your business, get more done in less time, I urge you, sit on your seats, pull out your pen and paper, turn off your phone, lean forward and hold on to every single word that Dani says, because this will change your life.
And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
Come on, man. 8 kids is a lot. It's a good reason not to succeed for a lot of people, but not for Judy Lowery and not for her husband. They had some major changes that needed to be made, and boy, did they make them. You know, here on the Dani Johnson Show, it is about helping you to succeed, but not according to the society's definition of success that you just finished hearing with the Leikers, that they followed that formula, and man, behind the scenes, they were failing in every possible way. And that's usually what happens. I have yet to see society's definition of success actually produce full success, a holistic approach to success in every area of somebody's life. But Judy and her husband, they have been following directions and getting results. We just found out that she was a part-time home-based business owner. And as a home-based business owner, she was making no dollars. She used some free training at smarternetworker.com, which is an affiliate of our website, DaniJohnson.com. And through Smarter Networker, there's a 30-day boot camp there, plus a pro membership where there's a lot of training in there to help to develop your skill. After finding out that worked so well, that took her income to $0 to $600 a month, she finally made the jump in 2013 to attend her first steps, now making 6 figures as a direct result, working 4 hours a month. Whatever. Okay, so Judy, you said that you doubled your closing ratios after your first event. Now, the reason why I even got to meet you face-to-face is because you had a whole bunch of people at the San Diego First Steps to Success. And so why did you bring those people to that event?
Well, actually, the light bulb went on for me in April at one of the April First Steps to Success in 2017 that I went to. Mm-hmm. And I remember hearing your story that I think you had the top sales records in your industry. And I think someone said $5 million a month in sales volume, if I'm correct at the number. I sat there thinking, the light bulb went on. Like, if she got to $5 million a month, she didn't do that by herself. She did that with a team. She plugged her team in, and that's when it just it blew up in my mind. Like, what am I doing not sharing this with my team? If I've gotten success in my home and my marriage and my being able to be a better mom and being able to work my business very part-time and succeed at that, and that's doing well, I need to get my team here. I need to get them in front of this information. There's no way I can do this by myself. I'm too limited and too strapped. So I started doing that in April, was when I really started implementing that. And that was where we hope to have hopefully 30 at our next one. That's my goal.
Wow. Okay, so let me ask you a question. What did you see in bringing your team there? Because that does take the pressure off of you. You know what I mean? Like, how am I going to multiply the success in my business when I only have so much time? You have to be able to duplicate your efforts. You have to be able to have a team that will double their closing ratios. You know, if your team doubles their closing ratios, then what happens to your income? It grows. So what have you seen since plugging people in to First Steps to Success?
We've seen a lot of changes on our team. I've had people getting a lot faster results in a much shorter amount of time on my team. I have, in April, I brought 2 ladies with me on my team, Diana Klein and Ling Fain. Diana's team, she quadrupled her team size in the first 2 months out of April's First Step to Success. Ling Fain, I think she brought on 11 new top business builders with her on her team in about the same time frame coming out of that training. And we've had people hitting rankings, and I think I told you at the luncheon too, my team is exploding. There's no other way to describe it. And I felt a little guilty because I'm really focusing on being a better mom and homeschooling my 3 youngest, and that takes a lot of time. But it took a huge load off of me, Dani, when you told me what is wrong with that. Your team is actually following directions.
Yeah,
you took that pressure off of me as a mom to be able to put them in front of you.
Amen. And what that does is that now it's a team effort, complete team effort, that you as the head of that organization doesn't have to carry the weight of the organization. It's up to your team to succeed on their own. And so you took them to the very place where you learned how to succeed. You took them to the same seminar where you learned how to go from $600 a month to $100,000 a year. So now you're giving them that same chance. The biggest mistake people make is they try to now become the teacher. They try to become the trainer, and now they're not doing the very activity that actually built their business. And so what you did that's so smart is you outsource the leadership development of your organization. You're allowing a proven track record to develop leaders inside of your sales organization versus it being your full responsibility. As a leader, your responsibility is to direct them to where you learned how to do it and let it take away from there. And look at the success of your people. So, and if your goal is to have 30 at the very next First Steps to Success, this is going to be a crazy year for you. That's called playing it to win, big time. That's playing to win right there. And that's not, okay, my organization has grown so much, I better increase my hours so I can keep up with it. No, that's not how to do it. That's how you can actually stop the growth of the sales organization. But outsourcing skill development of your team, that's brilliant. That's what big corporations do. So why not you in a home-based small business? Then you should be doing it as well. I'm really blown away at your character. I really am. So few people are able to stay humble when they go from 0 to 6 figures in a year. They can't. They can't. Their head blows up with their check. That has not happened to you. You've been really smart about that. So let me ask you a question. There is some mom out there that is watching this show right now. She's got kids. She's got excuses. She's got a little home business. She's struggling with it. And she's contemplating whether or not to go to the next First Steps to Success. What do you say to her right now?
Yeah, you don't have all the time in the world to try to figure it out. That's what I said to myself. You to shorten that learning curve, which you may never figure out. You may never figure that out on your own. The fastest way there, and to decrease the time and the load and the strain that's on you right now as a mom, and the blessing you want to be to your husband and your family, I would say definitely invest in yourself. It will pay for you and your family and your husband to get to that training at this next one in Dallas, Texas. First Steps to Success. That's what I would say to that mom.
Yes. So go to the website right now, click on events, and you'll see First Steps to Success. You'll see the dates right there. Don't wait for First Steps to come to you. That's cheating yourself and cheating your family. Now, Judy, we've been talking a lot about business, but what's also happened in your personal life from what you've learned at First Steps to Success? Not only have you paid off $47,000 worth of debt and you went from 0 to 6 figures, but what else has happened quickly in the family life?
Yes, in the family life, I would have to say each time I've come to a First Steps to Success, when I first came, I would have to say it was, in a way, I guess for selfish motives, I really wanted to do well in my business. I was all about making money and, which is, I guess that's a good goal to have. But every time I would sit in that training, it would come to me in my heart very heavy about my children. And it makes me almost tear up now because that's my burning desire, is that my team at home succeeds. Yes. And so that really, I got faith actually in April of this last First Steps that I wanted to really spend this, having 8 children, it's like raising 2 families. Yeah. I have my oldest 4 and my younger 4. So the younger 4 is like a second time to do it right. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I really felt like I felt in my heart, I want to homeschool these youngest three and experience, having that time and that time in their lives that I won't ever get again. I won't get to capture that again. No. Playing to win with my family. So that's what's really, really changed in my family and personal life. And as a result of that, literally God brings business my way. He brings opportunity my way. I literally had a group presentation just this last week with two ladies, and I closed the two right there on the spot. It was like so easy, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I didn't have time. Otherwise, that was all the time I had.
That's amazing.
I just go back to being a mom. Wow. So it's results like that has made it such a blessing and such an impact in my life, Dani.
Your entire life has been transformed. I'm so proud of you. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
The next segment might just change your life. This is The Dani Johnson Show. Did you know you can see Dani Johnson live and in person? Go to DaniJohnson.com and find out about our next live event. First Steps to Success. Register today. Call 866-760-8255 or go to DaniJohnson.com/FSTS.
Prior to getting started with DaniJohnson.com and First Steps to Success, we were spending absolutely every dime that we made. We were really struggling financially. Since plugging in to First Steps to Success just 4 months ago, we started a brand new business that is doing very, very well. We've paid off $4,500 in debt, but the most important thing is my relationship with my husband has improved dramatically. We have so much more fun together. I don't know about you, maybe your finances, you're doing great, maybe you're debt-free, maybe your relationships with your spouse, with your family are great. But if not, if you have some areas in your life that feel a little out of control or there's things that you need to work on, I highly recommend getting to First Steps to Success as soon as you can.
Prior to being dragged out to First Steps to Success, I was hopeless. I had no point to life. It was a day-to-day existence, working a job I despised for people I didn't respect. Deeper and deeper debt every year. You just couldn't get on top of it. I just had no hopes or dreams, none at all, and there was no point to life. But since coming out, we paid off $280,000 worth of debt, married the woman of my dreams. I came to love my job and the people I work for. I have all kinds of hopes and dreams. I get to watch them happen every day. I don't know what your life is like, there's probably tons of hope. You probably know why you live and you got places you're going, but if you don't, you need to sign up for First Steps to Success. You go to DaniJohnson.com and you click on it and be here, because your life will not be the same if you do.
Prior to First Steps to Success, I was drowning in debt, I was terrified of my bills, and I wanted to travel, but I never had the money. And since coming to First Steps to Success, in the last 14 months, I've paid off over $18,000 in debt. I've gone on 6 vacations, and I'm not terrified of my bills anymore. So if you want to learn some proven strategies to really learn how to connect with people, take your life to the next level, all while having a total blast, you need to get registered for the next First Steps to Success today.
Prior to coming to First Step to Success, we were totally struggling, totally under the weight of $640,000 worth of debt, making $20,000 a month, but living paycheck to paycheck. So when we came here, and I realized that it takes a totally different skill set to keep money, to create wealth than it is to make money, I have totally turned around our lifestyle. We have paid off $640,000 worth of debt in 2 years. We are debt-free as of June of 2013. I don't know where you're at. You might have all your finances in order. You might have a wonderful life. Your marriage might be all perfect and your kids are behaving. But if not, if one of those things is lacking, you gotta get here. Book your next event. You need to be here. You will not regret it.
Imagine living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel made of waste material on top of old mining tunnels that could explode and sink your home at any moment. Imagine no water to drink, no safe place to raise your children, no food for your starving baby. Imagine that your kids can't learn to read because they have to work to support the family instead of going to school. Could you imagine living in that kind of fear and hopelessness? This is exactly what poverty-stricken families are dealing with in Nicaragua. These families can barely meet their basic needs of food, clean water, and safe housing. But a miracle is in the making, and you can be a part of transforming Nicaragua. Be a part of this miracle. I want you to go to the website now and learn how you can help. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Nicaragua. There you can join with other warriors against poverty and help bring a miraculous transformation. That's kingsransom.org, kingsransom.org. The whole story of how I went from homeless to millions is right here in this book, First Steps to Wealth. I'd love to give you a free copy of this book. Just dial 888-757-8880. You can get your free copy of this book. It's like a real book, my friend. You can get an ebook copy for free right now, or if you'd like to pay the shipping to get this $15 book to your house, I'd be happy to send it to you. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of First Steps to Wealth today and begin on a brand new path of some great success.
This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Listen, friend, it's your life. How do you want to live it? Whatever you're struggling with right now, you don't have to continue to struggle with it. There are other strategies. There's other ways. So don't be like a 98%er who ends up dead or dead broke at the age of 65, dependent on their family, friends, and federal government for their main source of income, crying the blues. I never got the right cards dealt to me. I never had a good shot. No one ever helped me. I guess I'm just like my dad. I guess I'm just like my mom. No one in my family ever succeeded. That's how come I don't succeed. Come on, friend. Quit regurgitating that throw up in your mouth. It's time to build a life. It is time to make new choices. It's time to invest in yourself and get some new skills so you can succeed. It is time to stop rehearsing your past failures and hurts and victimized situations. It is time for you to stop nursing your past. It's time to stop feeding your past. This is 2018. It's time to play to win in 2018. And that means you need a different strategy. Because if you're going to play 2018 the way you played 2017, well, friend, you're getting ready to lose. Don't play to lose. Play to win. By the way, if this is your very first time joining us on today's show, I have a gift for you. You can call our office right now if you'd like to get this free playbook for you. This is called First Steps to Wealth. That's how I went from homeless to millions, now giving all of the salary away and all of the profits away to the extreme poor. I work as a volunteer for free to help change people's lives and take the money and helping to rescue 1,000 little boys and little girls out of the sex trade. So we'd like to give you this free book. It's called First Steps to Wealth. You pay the shipping to get the book to your house. You be responsible for your part. I'll meet you halfway. I'll meet you more than halfway. We'll pay for the $15 book. You pay for the shipping and handling to get it to you. You can also download a free copy on the website, DaniJohnson.com. Again, that's DaniJohnson.com. It's time to thrive. It's time to stop losing. That book is one step in the right direction. You can do it. And by the way, if you want to join us on this adventure, this mission, this purpose of rescuing 1,000 kids from the sex trade, you can do that by going to kingsransom.org. kingsransom.org. And if you want to be really serious about it, start a campaign and campaign right along with us. You can do that straight from our campaign page. Again, kingsransom.org. You'll see it right in the header. It says Rescue 1,000. Click on that. Do what you can. Give $1, give $10, give $100, give $1,000, give $100,000, give $1 million if you'd like. We've got 1,000 children to rescue, to extract out of brothels, to extract off of the streets, to then bring to a safe house, to protect them, to love them, to clothe them, to bring healing and counseling, and for those that are a little bit older, some training and development to help set them up for success in the marketplace instead of putting them right back on the streets again. We want to restore the children's life right back to them instead of keeping them out there sleeping with and having sex with grown big old men. We want them to have a safe place, and you can help. kingsransom.org. Other than that, that's the end of today's show. We'll talk to you tomorrow. God bless you. Have a great rest of the day. Bye.
If this episode was an encouragement to you, go to DaniJohnson.com and share it with your friends now. You never know who else needs to hear it. This has been The Dani Johnson Show. Join us every weekday at 7 a.m. for more insights that will help you get to the life you've always wanted.